My husband's family has a tradition of testing new wives. I just discovered what my test was. My husband's family has been testing new wives for generations. After 5 years of marriage, I finally discovered my test wasn't the cooking competition or the family history quiz part. It was how I handled finding out about the tests themselves. When I married James, his grandmother warned me cryptically, every Blackwood wife faces a test. How you respond determines your place in this family. I laughed it off as old-fashioned dramatics. But over the next few years, I noticed the subtle hierarchy among the wives' parent who was consulted for decisions, whose opinions carried weight at family gatherings. My sister-in-law, Diane, married for 12 years, was clearly at the top of this unspoken ranking. My mother-in-law, Patricia, treated her like a daughter, while regarding me with a polite distance. I could never seem to bridge. I tried everything to earn their approval. I volunteered for every family event, learned traditional recipes, and listened to endless stories about Blackwood ancestors. Nothing changed. The other wives would exchange knowing glances when I made an effort, as if watching a child stumble through a performance. Last Christmas, after too much wine, I asked Diane directly what the test had been. She smiled sympathetically. Exament's test is different. You'll know when it happens. 3 months ago, I was cleaning our attic when I found a leather-bound journal hidden in an old trunk. It belonged to James's grandfather, detailing the Blackwood marriage trials going back 6 generations. Each new wife was secretly assessed on something specifically designed to challenge her. James's aunt, a former beauty queen, had been tested on whether she would still show up to family events after being told the wrong dress code multiple times. My mother-in-law's test had been about whether she would defend her husband against his siblings' criticism. I felt sick reading it. Perthy's manipulative games disguised as tradition, but what disturbed me most was the entry about me. James's wife presents a unique challenge, highly educated, analytical, unlikely to accept obvious tests recommendation. Extended observation of how she handles discovering the tradition itself. They had been watching me for 5 years, waiting for me to find this journal. My test wasn't any single event, Berton. It was how I would react to learning I had been evaluated all along. I said nothing for weeks, carrying this knowledge like a stone in my stomach. I considered confronting James, but the journal suggested he might not even know the specifics of my test. The trials were apparently managed by the senior women of the family. Yesterday was the annual Blackwood family reunion. As usual, I helped set up, smiled through introductions, and sat quietly during family discussions. But when Patricia asked me to help in the kitchen, I finally saw my opportunity. As we prepared dessert together, I said casually, I was organizing the attic last month and found some interesting family records. Her hand stilled. Oh, what kind of records? A journal about family traditions? It was fascinating, parent, especially the parts about marriage. Patricia's face revealed nothing, but she called Diane and James's grandmother to join us. The kitchen suddenly felt very small. You found Edward's journal, the grandmother stated. Not a question, I did. And I have a question, who exactly decides if I've passed? The 3 women exchanged glances before the grandmother smiled. You already have, my dear. The test is not just discovery, but discretion. 5 weeks you've known, yet you spoke only privately to the right people at the right time. Patricia's demeanor transformed as she squeezed my hand. Welcome to the family. Later, I overheard them updating the journal. James's wife passed with distinction. Demonstrated patience, strategic thinking, and loyalty. Recommendation, include in future trial planning. I still haven't decided how I feel about this twisted tradition or my new elevated status. Part of me is relieved to finally be accepted. Another part is disturbed by the manipulation. Tonight, I asked James if he knew about the tests. His confused expression seemed genuine. What tests? I realized then that the Blackwood men might be as much in the dark as the new wives' parent pawns in a game controlled by the women who had once been tested themselves. Sometimes the families we marry into have traditions deeper and stranger than we could imagine, and sometimes passing the test just means entering a new level of the game.